Hello, Math 12 students. I'm Debbie Hill, your instructor for Math 12, and I wanted to give you a little introduction to the Canvas class so you know how to get started. So first, you're going to go to the Sierra College homepage, www.sierracollege.edu. Then when you're there, scroll down a little bit and you'll see the Canvas link. So Canvas is the name of our learning management system, and all online courses run through Canvas. So we'll talk some about the basics of Canvas and then about some specifics for this course. So click on Canvas, same username and password as for MySierra and your college email, log in. And the first thing that you'll see is called your dashboard. So in the upper left, it'll tell you where you are as you're navigating around in Canvas. So this is your dashboard. So that's the first icon in this navigation panel on the left. The next one is all courses. And so if you want to choose what's on your dashboard, you go to all courses, and if you click on a star and it's colored, that is going to show up on your dashboard. And if you unclick it, then it won't show up on your dashboard. So the dashboard's just a less cluttered place to find the classes you're taking currently, but you can also, when you click on the courses now, only the ones that are published will be showing up for you. You won't see any unpublished courses. So until your instructor publishes the course, you won't be able to see it. So this course is Math 12 College Algebra, and on this tile, it's called, you have a 3-dot menu, and you can choose what color you want the tile to be, so you can color code your courses, which I like to do. You can see I have Math 12 is purple and Math 24 is blue, and you can pick any of these colors, and in fact, if you know the codes for other colors, you can pick those. So then I give a nickname to the course because the name that Canvas gives it isn't meaningful for me. So you can call it whatever you like. You can write college algebra in here if that makes more sense for you. So then you can pretty much click anywhere on the tile and it's going to take you into the course. And every time you click on Math 12, it's going to bring you to this page that's called the home page or the landing page. So think of this as kind of home base. So this is your place you're going to start every time you come into the Math 12 course. So I have here a link to the syllabus. So if you need some information about the syllabus, it's easily available here. So I'm not going to go to this link right now because I'm going to do a separate video walking through the syllabus because there's a lot of information in it and I don't want this video to be super long. And then once I finish making the syllabus video, I'll put a link to it here. Then class norms doc. This is going to be kind of our guiding document of what kind of etiquette or behavior do we want to have in this class so that we can all feel safe and comfortable. So on the first discussion, you'll see that's where you can contribute to the class norms and put anything there that you would like to make sure happens or doesn't happen in the course so that we can all agree on what are going to be the norms for this class. Then Zoom recording links. Each time we have a Zoom meeting, I'll record just the whole group part of the session, and then I update it and show you the date and which is the last quick quiz that are on there so you'll know when I update it. And then when you click on this, what you'll see is a document where here's where I will put the links so that you can go right to the Zoom recording that you choose. So I make one for each of the Zoom meetings. So this is a picture of my dog. Doesn't look exactly like my dog, but pretty close. And I'm using a Bitmoji because I don't have any photos of myself with my COVID hair. So I'm using a Bitmoji because it actually looks more like I do than any of the photos that I have right now. So my dog's name is Kaylee, and she and I welcome you to Math 12 College Algebra. Feel free to call me Debbie, Mrs. Hill, Professor Debbie, Professor Hill, whatever you're the most comfortable with. And then if you scroll down, you'll see buttons that will take you to the weekly modules. So each week I put a new button for that week's module and I put it at the top so you can get to it quickly. Then here's the information about the Zoom meetings. So you can click the link for the class you want to attend, and you'll go straight to the Zoom room, the virtual room. The very first time you'll need to agree to have a small app installed on your device. There is a waiting room in the Zoom, and I have to admit you into the main meeting room. So it can take half a minute or a minute if several people are waiting. It just takes a few seconds for me to do that. So you can come to Zooms Monday at 9:30 or Monday at noon. Those will be basically the same topics, and Wednesday at 9:30 or Wednesday at noon, and those will be the same topics. So you're welcome to come to any or all of the Zoom meetings. I give you some time at the beginning to just chat with your classmates in a breakout room where I'm not there. I really like to give students a chance to get to know each other a little bit, and to me, that's one of the most important things about the Zoom meetings is that you get to have some contact with your classmates. So please do come visit me in my Zoom room on Wednesday evenings from 6:30 to 8:30. I'm just available in the room. And I meet with students one-on-one. And what I'm going to try doing this semester is have a breakout room for Math 12 and a breakout room for Math 24, my other class. And when you come, I'll put you in the breakout room to work with other students if you like. And if you want to come out and ask me a question in the main room, you can do that. And I'll pop in occasionally to see if you need some help. But I want to also be available for students who have a one-on-one private thing they want to discuss. So I'll have another breakout room that will be for if you have something private that you need to talk about. So I'm hoping students will come and it'll be a place to just kind of hang out and work with your classmates. So I would love for it to be that. It's 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. on Wednesdays. I have a Google Voice number. You're welcome to call or text anytime. And the thing with the Google Voice number is I see your phone number if you use that option. So the other option I have available is this Remind text app. And lots of schools are using it now, so I feel pretty comfortable about their level of data security. What you do is you put your phone number into the app, and then I don't see your phone number. It's just secured in the app, but I can send bulk text messages to everybody in the class by using the app. So everybody who signs up, it makes it really easy for me to send out reminder about the Zoom meetings or whatever other information I feel like you need. So I always send things 3 different ways, especially at first. I send it through the Remind text app. I do the Canvas inbox until you get used to checking the Canvas inbox. And then I also use your college email, especially if it's something official, to make sure that you have lots of places you can go look for important messages from me. So that's the home page. And I will go through the Getting Started module in a separate video, but for now, I really wanted to do the big overview of how is this class set up. Because each of your instructors, although we're all working in Canvas, we can set the modules up differently. We can set these buttons up differently. So let me first talk about the buttons on the left that are the navigation buttons for Canvas. So we talked about the dashboard and the courses. If you hover over these, the name of what it is pops up. So there's a calendar. So you can have a Canvas calendar with all of your course things in it. You can add things to the calendar. I put everything on the calendar for the course, so you'll be able to see when things are due. The next one is your inbox. So you have a Canvas inbox. And that's the easiest way for me to send messages, so I use that a lot. I will use the Sierra College email also in case that's the one that you check more often. Then the next one is history. You don't really need that one. Then this question mark is help. So you can use this help button. This is for help with Canvas generally. So if you're having an issue with something specific in our class, you can ask me first, but this is for if you're having some problem with Canvas or it's not working properly. Then this is called Sierra Connect, and I will be using this. This is something for instructors to use to refer students. If we're getting worried about how things are going with you, we might send a referral to a student success coach who will contact you and see if there's something they can do to help. Then this last one is great great new resource that's been added. It's called Student Support. So if you click that one, there's all kinds of resources here available for you. So student success supports and services. So if you need help with choosing classes or a major, if you want to talk right to your support specialist, tutoring button, technology, accessing the library, health and wellness. We have a health center on campus. So feel free to take advantage of that. It's a great new feature that's been added. So let me go back to Math 12 and now talk about, now that we're inside Math 12, now it's Math 12 navigation buttons in the blue on the left. So the red strip is all of Canvas, general, and then the blue text is specific to Math 12. So I have set up these buttons. So the next button is the modules, because if you don't want to go click the button on the home page and you just want to go right to the module to wherever you want to be in the module, you can click the module button yourself and get there. So it starts with module 0, and then this little triangle is an accordion button that you can close up the accordion menu, clicking, or click again and open up the accordion menu. So I wanted it to be easy to tell where and how to start. So start here. This is the first thing you're going to do is click on read the syllabus. So I'm going to come back and go through the getting started module as a separate video. I just want to go through each button briefly here. So the next button is your peer tutor, Lynette, and she hasn't updated the page yet, but she will. And she's a student who took college algebra from me and did fabulously well, so I invited her to tutor, and now she's been tutoring for me for 4 semesters, and she does a wonderful job, and she loves helping students be successful, and she's really easy to talk to and ask questions, and really, really helpful. So that's the button, Peer Tutor Lynette, and she will have weekly group sessions that you can drop in on or stay the whole time, and you can get extra credit points for doing those. So then we have the Algebra Support and Math Centers. This is a Sierra College resource for the whole college, so you'll probably be the most interested in the Algebra Support Center. So it's closed right now. It has a line through Connect with a Tutor when it's not open, but it's going to be open Monday through Thursday 9 to 5 and closed Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Actually, I think it's probably going to be open Fridays in the fall, but this is probably the summer schedule that's just still up because they were closed on Fridays. So that's the Algebra Support Center that's specifically for algebra. So those tutors are especially good at tutoring algebra. This is a really useful resource for you. But if those times don't work for you, then you can go to the regular Math Center. These tutors are more generalists, and so some of them, it's been a while since they took algebra. So if the Algebra Support Center is open and the Math Center is open, I'd recommend going to the Algebra Support Center. But if it's not open, the Math Center can also be a good resource. So it's going to be open until later in the evening, and the current hours will get posted as soon as they have them available. So that's the Math and Algebra Support Centers. That opens in a new tab. And then the Sierra College Tutor Center also has to open in a new tab. This is a student tutoring center where you can make an appointment. So you can contact the online tutoring center. They have an online scheduling app where you can make an appointment to have a Zoom meeting with a tutor. So this is also student tutors, and they usually do have tutors available for Math 12. So that's if you want a one-on-one, 1 hour a week tutoring session with an individual tutor. That's available to you. The next button is tutor.com. And I just want to make sure you're clear that tutor.com, not my favorite resource. I tell you about it because the college is paying for you to have time to work with a tutor on tutor.com. The tutors are usually very helpful, My problem with them is they'll help you on things that I would prefer they didn't help you with, and I have no control over them since they're outside of Sierra College. It's a separate company. So I would ask that you not use this service for the big quizzes, the Shine quizzes. Feel free to use it for homework help or quick quiz help. But I didn't see many college algebra students using this in the last couple of semesters, but I do want you to know that it's available. So the next button is grades. And because I'm the instructor, I can see all of the grades. So it takes a moment to populate because it's a big class with a lot of assignments. So be patient. I have to. Okay, then I'm going to go down to test students so that we're not looking at any particular student's personal information. So I have a student called test student, so I can show you how things look from the student point of view. So I'm going to open test student, and this is a page. You'll have a page like this with your name, and you're going to put some kind of a picture. I don't care what kind of picture it is, but some kind of picture and not this gray shadowy person. So the grades, once you get to your name and grades, this is where you can see the details about your grade. And it's also where you're going to look to see feedback that I have given you about your grades. So here would be quick quiz 1. You'll see the due date. You'll see what your score is once the due date has passed. Sometimes I have to put the scores in, and so it takes a day or two before I get them in. And then you can click on the assignment and see what you submitted. You can see your grade, and then you can put a comment here, or if I have put a comment here, you'll see it. So when you submit things, I can write on your digital document with my iPad, and then you'll be able to see my feedback. So this very first quick quiz, in fact, is going to be a practice exercise where you go through the feedback process, and I make sure you know how to do all the parts of it. So that's grades. That's where you'll always be able to see what your grade is. I keep it very current, so you'll always know how you're doing in the class. And then discussions, we have weekly discussions. They're not usually math problem related. They're more other things that contribute or don't contribute to your success that I would like you to think about and respond to. So every week you'll need to post by Wednesday and then respond to at least 2 classmates by Sunday. The very first week you need to respond to each of the people in your group. I'll put you in groups of about 10. So I want you to get to know that cohort of your group mates. So I make it a smaller subgroup of the entire class. And then we'll switch them up about halfway through the semester. So the first discussion has 2 parts, an A part and a B part. So the A part is your introduction. Pretty much all your classes will start this way of asking you to introduce yourself to your classmates. And please start with your name that you prefer to go by, especially if it's different than the one that's printed in Canvas. And I am a future, and I want you to fill in the blank. I'm a future engineer. I'm a future teacher. I'm a future astronaut. I'm a future UC Berkeley student. Put something in there that's meaningful to you, that every time you think about it, it will inspire you. I am a future engineer. I am a future doctor. And you may also want to tell us about pets, children, hobbies, favorite food, etc. So feel free to share as much as you're comfortable with. And this first week, I do want you to respond to each of the classmates in your group. And please use their name when you respond so that you can start getting to know each other as people. Then the class norms I mentioned, I have 2 non-negotiables. Everyone deserves respect and assume good intentions. So if there are other guidelines that would help you feel safe and comfortable, and people put all kinds of things like Don't use shaming words, or please stick with I, me, my, and just things that generally help everybody to feel safe and comfortable. So you can share anonymously on this Google Doc. So when you click on it, it'll go to the Google Doc and you just type whatever you want there. And then I've put a little bit about me since I've asked you to introduce yourself. So this is my 3-year-old granddaughter, and this is my 6-month-old granddaughter, the lights of my life right now. So that's the discussions. The next button is people. So you will be able to see all of the people in all 3 sections of my Math 12 classes. I like to have this available so that you can contact each other directly without having to ask me how to contact each other. And it's through Canvas. So you won't have somebody's email or telephone number. You just contact them through Canvas. So if I want to contact the first person in the list, I click on their name and you see there's a little envelope. And so that's how you can send them a message. So if this is helpful, great, take advantage of it. If it's not working as intended, please let me know. If there's any kind of abuse of it or it's just not being used properly, let me know. And it's easy enough to turn the button off if it's being unproductive. So then there's announcements. I don't use the announcements a lot because I'm very mindful of that you have a lot of digital noise coming at you, and I don't want to add to that unless it's really important. So I really am thoughtful before I just send barrages of emails and texts and announcements. I try to be really sparing with them. So the next button is Files. And this is like a file cabinet. It's a place I can put documents where you can access them. So for instance, here's a conics handout. When we get to conic sections towards the end of the semester, I'll give you a link to this handout. And if you don't want to use the link, you can just come directly to the files and see all of the class documents are also here. So then you won't see any of these buttons. This little symbol means they're just buttons I need and they won't be available to you. So those are all the Canvas buttons, and I'm going to make another video where I walk you through the Getting Started module and what's involved with that. So looking forward to working with you.